Hi there everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and I'm so excited to show you the gorgeous essentials collection from our friends at 49 and Market. We have a beautiful set of 12 by 12 collage pattern papers in really pretty earth tones. Now this collection includes 8 double-sided pieces of cardstock plus 2 sheets of coordinating laser cut elements. Now what I'm going to do is move this sheet aside, and you can see some of these laser cut elements. So they're beautiful and delicate, but because they're printed onto this cardstock, they also have a nice stability to them. So all you need to do is just pop them right out of that backing piece and put them to use on your cards and scrapbook pages. Now the rest of the papers in here being double-sided, you've got 2 choices. Beautiful collage all over designs, and then you've also got some faux textures. So you've got lights and darks, patterns, and all over patterns. Absolutely stunning. This is why 49 and Market is one of my very favorite manufacturers. So gorgeous, gorgeous set to work with. Now there's more to our collection today. We also have the Essentials pack of washi tape. Now this is really unique. So you've got 2 sheets in this collection. Here's the first one. This is a sheet of washi images, including words. All you need to do is just peel those off and you're ready to put them to use. So you can see how nicely those would go onto the backing paper. So that's one sheet. Your second sheet is going to be an all-over design. Now, of course, you can cut this apart as well and use just elements of it too. Now, the sheets measure 6 inches by 12 inches, so you have a lot to work with. Now, you've also got a pack of 3-inch by 4-inch file frames, and these are a lot of fun to use. So in the pack, you're going to have 42 pieces in total. You're going to have 15 of these tabbed frames, so open frames with a little library tab on them. You also have 15 tabs that you can use separately, and you will have 12 mats. Now, of course, you can stack these, layer them, cut them apart, use them for lots and lots of different things. So that's our pack of file frames. Super useful, especially for card making and scrapbooking too. Then we've got the Essentials Ephemera Bits collection. Now this is a lot of fun. This has 58 mix and match die cuts inside. And there's too much for me to spread out here for you to see. So I'll just flip over the package and you can see the contents here. You've got botanicals, you've got sentiments, butterflies, tickets, all kinds of fun stuff. Now the last piece of today's collection is this set of Foliage. Now these are really, really cool. This is going to have all kinds of foliage inside, like the name suggests. And let me pull out one so that you can see that this is kind of a watercolor style, but it's printed onto an acetate. So it's nice and sturdy, gives you another texture in your paper crafts, and also nice and lightweight, perfect for cards, especially if you're mailing them. Now they do have kind of translucency to them, so when you're using them on different kinds of colors of cardstock and paper, you can see you'll get a different look depending on light or dark. And yes, you get lots of little butterflies in this package as well. And of course, because it's 49 and Market, everything is designed to coordinate perfectly. So you have some great foundations and lots of really fantastic embellishments to play with too. So I have 4 card projects to share with you today. We're going to work in some different techniques, including embossing. We have a lot to explore today, and I am so glad that you're here. Come play with us. Okay, so now that we've seen the supplies, let's take a look at some cards and a couple of demos. And we'll begin with this card here. Now, this is what I think of as a great example of what this Essentials collection is all about. And it's one reason why I love 49 and Market so much. You can start by covering your card front with any of the pattern papers. And here I've used this really pretty vintage stripe. And then just layer on your elements. And because everything is designed to coordinate, you know it will match in terms of color and style and theme and size, which really takes a lot of the guesswork out of finding elements and coordinating them, and does give you a lot of freedom in choice. So in this case, I have this large laser cut floral bouquet tucked into this frame die cut. Now both of these are from the paper pack. The word amazing is also a laser die cut. And what I really like about this, you'll notice that script is really delicate and very fine, and yet because it's printed onto that cardstock, it's fine, but it's not so delicate and fragile that it can't be handled with ease. So I really like that. Now just behind here, I think you can see I have one of the frames from our file frames collection, and I've just snipped it apart with scissors. So all you need to do, grab your scissors. I like to trim these at an angle for a little bit of variety. And then you have an element that you can pop down in any part of your card. And in this case, I've done it right here. Super easy to do. And of course, then you've got the other part of it too that you can use somewhere else on your card. Okay, now on the card inside, I have another bit of that die cut frame. Here's also a small collage using some of the ephemera bits. And the butterfly and this beautiful frame, those are both layered up onto another patterned background. Now the words best ever are washi. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to show you my washi package. What I have left, it's looking pretty bald because I really went to town with this. This is a lot of fun to work with and easy to do too. So the nice thing about this is that because it's transparent, you can kind of play with the positioning and see which elements you want to use where before you commit. And even if you do commit, you can uncommit too, because you can pull it back off if you need to. So I'm just going to take this element here and just gently smooth down from the center out and take a look. You've got an instant element of texture because it does have a different feel to it, and dimension. Really, really nice. So you can use this as it is here. You can also take, let's see, here's one of the tabs from the file frames. You can kind of position as well and see, let's see, is that going to fit on there? I think we can make that fit. And pop this down like so. And you'll notice that the words will stand out and the background will just kind of fade into the background. Now I'm working with lighter pattern papers to adhere my washi onto, and that will help the design, whether it's words or the pattern, to stand out a little bit. And that's how easy it is to use these washi designs. Really, really love this. Okay, going back to our card project, another element I want to point out to you is the butterfly here. Now this is from the Foliage pack. And it's one of these clear butterflies, like so. So you can see it is translucent, which may lead you to wonder how you can glue it down without having the glue show through. And in this case, what I like to use is my glue stick. And all I'm going to do is just pop this down. You don't need to use too much. A little glue stick will do the trick. Just a little bit on here. And then pop it down again onto some of the lighter area. And there we go. And because it's a glue stick, if you need to do any little scooching, you can do that too. It'll slide around a little bit. And then when it's dry, it is ready to go. Now the butterflies have a lot more of that open translucent area on there. Some of the foliage, of course, is darker colors, so that when you pop this down, you don't need to worry maybe too much about glue showing through. But again, let's grab our glue stick and just add some of the glue to some of these leaves on here. Again, a light touch is all you need, a little bit down there at the bottom. And then you can pop this down like so. So now I have a really nice foundation for another card if I wanted to, and I could even add, let's see, I could even add my little file frame message on there if I wanted to. I could have another portion of a cut apart frame. So you can start to see where the elements are really easily coming together. And of course, working onto a collage pattern background paper really makes it super easy to do as well. So very quick, very simple to do. I have another card I want to show you too. And let's take a look at this one. Now again, we're using some of the washi. I've got the butterfly here. I've also got some washi here in the background. Now I started once again by covering my card front with this pattern paper, which is just such a beautiful design. On top, I've used some of the washi all over paper, and this is how much I've got left of it. So you can see I really did go to town with this. It's a lot of fun to use. And I just used that on top of some light pattern paper from the collection. And I cut it with a paper trimmer and inked the edges with Thundercloud dye ink. And this is a really great way to add some shading around here and easy to do. So I'm going to bring in another one of the ephemera elements. So this is one of these larger pieces. And I've got some of my washi sheet. So I'm just going to grab my scissors and snip that apart, and then peel this off. I'm going to handle it pretty gently, and then I can add it to the lighter area here. And I'm going to kind of go over to one side a little bit, and then again just smoothing it down, kind of walking it out and smoothing it down like so. And then I can cut this with scissors. I can cut it with a cutting die if I want to. I can use my paper trimmer and so on. But the other nice thing I can do is add some ink around the edges. And again, just using that Thundercloud, I'm going to come along here and just edge this really simply. Like so. Now the more of an angle I hold my ink pad, the more ink will get on the front. If I hold it perpendicular, I'll just get a really gentle edge on there. That's all you need to do. Let that ink dry and you're ready to add it onto your card or wherever you would like to place it, onto a scrapbook page or a tag or what have you. Now if I wanted to do some die cutting, and here's one of the ovals from the Ovals and Scallop from Hot Off the Press, I would just pop this down. I really like to use this hunky-dory low-tack tape to secure the die in place before I run it through my die cutting machine, and I just kind of tack it down, getting more of the tape around the outside edge than the inside edge. Run that through my die cutting machine, and I would have a center element that might look like this. Quite easy to do and a great way to add another shape into your card design as well. Now I've got a little bit of the foliage going on here, got some layering, and it's all coming together really nicely. Now the phrase yesterday, today, this is a border from one of the 12 by 12 papers. On the other side is the barcode or the product information. So they always give you these really nice borders, so do take advantage of those as well. Then for the card inside, we have another frame. This has been turned on its side, and I've got some more foliage, as you can see here. This stuff is just so easy to use. And some of the washi. So here's another element, and then here's a beautiful flower as well, just kind of peeking out from behind here. So with some really easy coordinating elements, you can put together some pretty quick and simple cards that have a lot of elegance, texture, and dimension to them. So super simple to use. Now, of course, you can also add in some other mediums too, like embossing powder. So let's take a look at that. This card follows the same blueprint as our other cards. So we have pattern paper covering the card front, along with this really gorgeous laser cut wreath. It's absolutely stunning. We've also got some foliage on here, ephemera with the hello and the butterfly, and this label, which of course also has some of the washi on here too. Now I've also added in some foam tape for the message and for the butterfly for a little bit of extra dimension. Now one other thing we have going on is some texture, and it's quite subtle, but it really adds a nice effect to this card. And this is embossing powder that's been brayered on. So I have some here, I've got some along the edge here, and some down here across the bottom too. Now this is the Hydrangea embossing powder. This is from the Park Floral Trio from Wow Embossing Powders. I put this on with some embossing ink and a mini brayer. Super simple technique to do. Let's take a look. I'm going to move my card out of the way and bring in a piece of this patterned background paper. And I also want to have a folded scrap of paper on hand that's going to catch my excess embossing powder. Got my embossing ink pad, and I've got my brayer, which admittedly needs a bit of a clean. It's a little bit stained, but it is clean. But I think I need to give it a little bit more of a scrub next time. Okay, now I'm going to have my embossing powder out and ready to go. And you can see that color in there is a mixture of lots of different colors. So when I created this shade, and again, this is the Hydrangea, I have some peach, I've got some blue, I've got some gold and some silver in here all mixed together, which creates a really beautiful effect. So I'm just going to roll my brayer across my embossing ink pad, and then I'm just going to roll it onto my pattern paper. Now I'm using a bit of a heavier touch than I did on my card because I want this to really show up well. Now quickly, while I have this ink still wet, I'm going to open up my scrap paper and sprinkle the embossing powder on here. And then just tap this off. And you can see where this has adhered to the wet ink. So I've got some pink, some peach, some blue, some gold in here as well. Now what I'm going to do is set this aside. Working onto my craft mat, I'm going to grab my heat tool and just heat set this, and we'll see what it looks like. So hang in there with me while I do some heat setting. Okay, there we go. Now you notice that I was heating from the front as well as heating a bit from the back, and that was just to minimize the paper kind of warping a little bit. So now I've got this beautiful texture on here. I've got some additional color and a little bit more dimension as well. So that's what I did on the front of my card. And again, this is such a suitable combination because you've got some peaches and you've got some blues. The earth tones really pick up the colors in the pattern paper without taking away from the rest of the design. Now, getting back to the card here, I also want to point out this Hello Ephemera piece here. This is set at a slight angle, and that's just to give a little bit of interest to the collaged focal element. I was playing with it being completely straight and aligned, and then figured having it just a little bit of an angle really added some interest to this. Then for the card inside, I have some pattern paper. I've got this big, beautiful foliage element on here. I've got some more of the ephemera, and I've got one of the little tabs from the file folders that has been decorated with some washi. Okay, I have another card project to share with you too. This is our last one. A nice big open area on here, which is our background here for the slimline card. Again, I've got some more of the embossing. Now I'm going to just bring in this piece of white paper, and I think you may be able to see that blue and peach combination. Again, the hydrangea just going along the edges of this. And let me show you how to do that, because this is another nice, easy way to use your embossing. I still have some of my hydrangea here in my catch-all paper. And so what I'll do, I'll just grab this same piece here, my embossing ink pad. Don't need the brayer for this one. And just like I did with the inking with that thundercloud, I can just edge my paper with my embossing ink pad and then just kind of dip it in here. So you don't need to shake it from the jar. You can dip it into your already folded piece of paper here. And then what you can do, again, working onto my craft mat, I'm going to funnel this back into the jar. I'm running low on hydrangea, so I want to make sure that I don't waste a single speck of it. So I can pop that in here, put the lid on, of course, and then heat set this edge. So I'm going to do that quickly, and then we'll take a look. And once again, I'll show you up against the contrast of that white paper. You can see that edging on here. And it just adds such a nice touch, especially with the Essentials collection. Just adds another little layer of dimension and some color on here. Okay, so taking another look at our card, we have a file frame as our focal with a laser cut botanical kind of coming out from here. And we've got some ephemera here and here. We've also got a washi word up here, and then we've got the foliage with this butterfly. Again, just glue down with that glue stick. So quick and easy, a great way to create a really stunning card focal. Then for the card inside, we have more of the pattern paper. Now, normally we just put our decoration on the inside front, but I always like to add a little bit of it on both sides here too. I especially really love the text paper, so I had to put that to use and show that to you too. Okay, now I've got, again, another bit of ephemera and another one of the laser cuts from the collection, and it comes together really nicely and easily. So here we go. We've done some simple layering, we've done easy embossing, and I think we've had a great time working with these gorgeous and elegant pieces from 49 and Market. Thank you so much for joining me today, and a really big thank you for being a part of the Paper Wishes family. We're just so glad that you're here with us. I can't wait to see what you create, so do be sure to leave a comment, and we love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, just see this webisode on paperwishes.com.